Hello everyone, and welcome to a new episode of LostinTranslationmon. This time we'll be covering Digimon Ghost Game episode 47, Memory of Eternity. I'm May, and I'm joined by the wonderful Quinn.
Hi.
And the equally wonderful Chloe.
Hello.
So, just some quick housekeeping, and I'm going to also call this Chloe's Corner for Chloe's thoughts on episode 46, Queen's Banquet, which was last week's episode. Chloe, you have the floor/corner.
Yeah, so, sorry for being asleep last week. I'll just rattle off my thoughts real quick, and this will probably be the most talking I do this episode, because it's been a weird day, and I'm not feeling very talkative. But, honestly, I probably don't really have that much on as far as thoughts from last episode that wasn't already said. It was a weird episode. I did like that there was a pretty direct line between Creepy Friend's behavior and, what ended up happening to him. God, I wish there ended up being consequences, or that he learned literally anything at all from it. But, we even see at the end that he's right back to his, same old stuff. Mm-hmm. The hallucinations were pretty whack, especially with the vines going up his nose and stuff. That was pretty a lot. I forget the big bad's name, but she was cute and could vor me any day.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Quinn primed me for it. What can I say? And the whole musk vor concept, I hate saying it a lot, but I didn't mind it as the execution, I guess. If we've got to have a Digimon out here eating humans because they smell like some, just rank-ass Digifood is a more novel explanation than we usually get for it, so...
That's fair.
I liked it.
Yeah.
It was gross.
If nothing else, it was
upsettingly.
So anyway, she's definitely down to murder people, but it's okay, because we found her some other smelly food.
Yeah. Oh, one thing, though, that I did wish was, that I meant to write down as a quasi-lowlight is, I wish that we could just not invoke Clockmon's name to make everything okay.
Yeah, it's cool, because Clockmon will keep an eye on the mass murderer.
Yeah. We're getting to a point where, there's gotta be some Digimon that are stronger than Clockmon, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, Clockmon's just an adult, and I'm fairly certain this was a perfect, I think, anyway. It was a new Digimon.
Mummymon is
yeah,
stronger.
Mummymon, yeah. But the thing is, it's kind of weird how sometimes they'll kill a Digimon, sometimes they'll Lilo and Stitch this television series, the Digimon, and give it, somewhere to be happy where it can use its ability.
Yeah.
And sometimes, this week's episode, it just gets black tailmonned into the digital world or what have you. So it's really interesting how they're doing that, because it doesn't seem to have, any particular formula for, okay, this Digimon's going to die, this Digimon's going to be repurposed, this Digimon's sent
change it
back.
up, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not it feels like they're just spinning a wheel. It doesn't...
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind that. I kind of like that it's random. It's not super formulaic in that way.
I admit I have a hard time saying, what the message of the series is.
Sometimes murder is okay.
Yeah. We sure did that No 2 better.
Yeah, murder is a sometimes food.
There's an episode title.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Sometimes food.
Yeah. Any other thoughts?
Nah, that was basically it.
So, what about your favourite character?
Oh gosh, I didn't prepare one. The big bad whose name I forget. She was cute.
Olayamon. I kind of had a feeling you'd pick her. And what about a rating out of 5?
It was pretty... I did not prepare a rating, so I'm just going by the seat of my pants here. It was fine, 3.5 range. As far as ranking, feel free to just toss it roughly in the middle.
Roughly in the middle?
Of my 3.5s, if you would.
I shall do that. I'll do that after the podcast, because that's a lot of clicking and typing. However, what I can do is we can look at where that puts episode 46 in the overall ranking, which... It gets a 10 out of 15, so that's with my... I gave it a 2.5 because it was just completely inoffensive. I thought it was a fine episode. It felt like it didn't do anything wrong, but it was still just fine. Mm-hmm. Quinn gave it a 4 and Chloe gave it a 3.5, so that gives it a 10, which means that it is tied with episode 41, which I'm not sure what episode 41 was. That was... Let me find it. which one is episode 41? That was Clown. So, Clown is in 33rd place in our overall ranking. Would we prefer this episode to Clown or not prefer it to Clown? That was the Piedmon episode.
I think... it's a tough one because I'm basically in the exact opposite situation that she would presumably be in my place right now. Where I'm just like,
yeah,
but
that is fair.
Sexy, scary lady. So...
It is a matter of very correct taste to be more into the scary, sexy lady.
Yeah.
I would put it under Clown, I think. Yeah.
That's fine
Well, in
by
my
me.
overall ranking, I actually have it episode 41, and then immediately underneath it is episode 46. So that tracks.
So down below the
I said
Clown.
that. But both of y'all, you can be the deciding factors. Are we putting it above or below?
Below is fine with me.
I'm good with below.
Below? Okay, we'll put it below Clown, which sounds like I'm saying something else.
Is that what the kids are calling it
Okie
these
dokie.
days, Air?
Below Clown. I'm putting it, so that means it's in 34th place. Okie dokie. So, cool. That's, I think that's all to discuss with episode 46. So do you have any overall thoughts that you didn't mention?
Mainly just I wish we couldn't invoke Clockmon and then not have to ever worry about a character again. That's about
That
the
is
extent of it,
fair.
I think.
You don't
Yeah, 'cause
understand.
sometimes they don't
Clockmon
come
is
back.
secretly raising an army that will take over the world. Please let that be the ending.
I hope so. Gosh.
That would be kind of like Clockmon actually is set up to be the big bad from episode 1, and we just trusted him or something. That'd be funny.
The real terror, the real ghosts is trusting people you shouldn't.
Especially ones that turned people to old people and basically almost killed them.
Yeah.
The real Ghost game was the friends you didn't actually make along the way.
The real ghost game was the friends you murdered along the way.
They did murder a lot of their friends along the way.
Yeah. And all those campers that, Cherrymon ate, forget about them.
We didn't
So,
even bother
in
convincing them to try to kill their friends.
No, not even, he didn't even say, hey, you should definitely kill your best friend because I'm a talking tree. What else do you need to know? I still can't believe that happened.
I might
But
need to
anyways,
make you watch the Cherrymon episode.
Oh my.
please, I need to know Chloe's thoughts on a tree convinces a boy to kill his best friend. After they've just held hands. Yeah, it's just really, it feels...
It is the worst
it's a
writing.
thing.
It's
Alright.
amazing.
Yeah, we need to make them fight, but we need to put stakes on this. But anyway, that's not Ghost Game. This is Ghost Game. So, episode 47, Memory of Eternity, brief synopsis. We have Shadramon, and just quickly, who do you think Shadramon evolves from? It is another armor evolution.
I've been assuming Wormmon?
Kind of looks
Yeah.
like that, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
it-
it's
it's-
like,
it-
what if Flame Dramon was made from Wormmon?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It is Wormmon with the Digimental of Courage, and it is such a cute design. I love it
Digimental
so
is
much.
so dumb. Not quite as dumb as Jogress, but that sure did come from the same season.
Yeah, 02 more like come up with some really weird names for
They're
things.
the worst acronyms. Or not acronyms, portmanteaus.
Or just anything, just like
What is Jogress?
I mean-
Joint progress.
joint progress.
Oh no! What? Why?
Yeah, I think the English dub had a better term of DNA digivolution, honestly.
Yeah, rare time. They definitely
Rare
hit that
time.
one better.
Yeah.
But so
Yeah.
many things would be a step up from Jogress.
Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, we have Shadramon, and it's really sad at the start. He's just dying, and he just drops some exposition on us. He's like, oh, I'm going to become a Digitama because I'm dying, but then I lose my memories because that's what happens when you become a Digitama. And
How does he know?
It's just
Because
if
I
you lose
think
your
it's just-
memories.
because,
I think it's just something that you know.
yeah, you
like,
watch
because
someone die,
you-
turn into an egg, and then get reborn without their memories.
Nah.
Yeah.
Sounds fake.
I think it would just be a known thing that they just kind of know as Digimon, and boy, does this episode tell us that like 3 times. But anyway,
Yeah.
so Shadramon does die, but a little voice, which turns out to be a Nanomon who is hiding out in his ear because it's tiny this time,
Yeah,
which is...
they decided
makes
to
sense.
lean into Nano.
Which, actually, I like this, but I was really surprised that he was actually, like, tiny, tiny, tiny. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But
Way above a
in
nanoscale,
Adventure
though.
and in Frontier, he was
I
like
was trying
a
to
dude.
avoid saying it.
Yeah, I could tell. So I had to say it for you.
Sorry, what was that?
I was trying not to be a scientist and say that it's far larger than nanoscale, so Chloe pointed it out for me.
Yeah. Well, that is true. It is also, larger than Nano, but he is smaller. He's more
small.
Nano than previous. But, so Nanomon is telling him that, he doesn't have to worry because he will make his memories live forever. And what he does is he puts the memories into a human who is one of Kiyoshiro's workmates.
Into a
who
memory
ends up
seed
having...
that he puts into a workmate for reasons.
Yeah, which is kind of... It gets really body horror, which should be what we expect from the series. But this friend, well, I guess colleague, is just so funny because he points out that Kiyoshi was like, Kiyoshiro, you have friends?
It was pretty good.
Which is just like...
It was the most fantastic burn I may have ever seen on television.
Why is everyone so mean to Kiyoshiro? They're just like,
You saw
he
his
has
room?
It
friends.
sucks.
You saw his room. You saw all the idol posters. I would be like, oh, you have friends? Okay, all right.
Yeah, he's got
Good for you.
Nendoroids, and I'm pretty sure he's got some Vocaloid figures and everything. Like, I kind of want to be Kiyoshiro's
the
friends.
guy who works in the lab with you is like, wow, you have friends?
Yeah, and he also likes anime, so
That is
like,
a serious burn.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's a pretty big burn from someone who watches anime. Let's be real. And I watch
Ow.
anime. Yeah, we all watch anime. It's a burn for everyone involved. Even if you're listening to this, it's a burn because Digimon, that's an
Digimon
anime.
did kind of burn all of us.
Digimon did have us make this way. That wasn't even a sentence. Sorry,
It
I'm
sure
tired. My neck
was.
hurts.
Digimon
not.
sure did have us make this way, though. You're right.
Has anyone been as far as to go to look more like?
Yeah. Only once, though.
So back to the summary of
only
the
once.
thing.
Back to the summary thing. If I can even make more words. So this friend, I guess he's not a friend because he was surprised that Kiyoshiro had friends. He's a colleague. Starts to have Shadramon body parts come out of him, and then eventually these become solid, and it's really
It's very
gross,
Kafka, and it's pretty
grotesque,
great.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's very. I loved it. It's very much just like the body horror that I expect from this show, and then
I
the
can't
characters
remember the
fight
name
because of course they do.
of the Metamorphosis' main character.
Samsa.
Thank you. My brain was saying George Cantor, and that is not right.
Then
Definitely not that.
we have Nanomon kind of reveal himself, and then Tesla Jellymon is super smart, super cool, is basically decides to say, hey, this is how magnets work, picks up Espimon, and Espimon says that he hates his life, and I just feel like you would have both really enjoyed this moment.
Yep.
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 I was happy to see...
Please electrocute Espimon more.
And
Yeah.
it works. Tesla Jellymon makes a magnet and shows us how magnets work, and picks up Nanomon. And Nanomon explains that he was doing this as an experiment, and the reason was because he wants to live forever, so if he keeps on testing it, he'll have a solution by the time he dies. And then we see that Shadramon and Kiyoshiro's colleague are just still merged in a really horrific way. Tesla Jellymon decides to continue saving the day by evolving to Thetasmon and is able to separate them with transportation, which
Just kind of
heals
somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very much just hand wavy, but I'm just going
Look,
to
we were
put in.
aping a Star Trek episode, and they used the transporter. What else do you want?
Yeah. And I mean, I guess because Thetasmon does kind of have healing magic, I can kind of
You gotta
set that
switch.
aside.
Oh, right. That time that she golden showered an entire city block.
She sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has magic, and it's healing magic, which is kind of surprising
Healing
coming from the
magic.
electric monster. But I mean, I'm just happy
Let's
that we
be
got
real,
Thetasmon.
it's from the girl.
Yeah, and I'm just glad it's not the Canon Weissmon again, to be honest. I don't know, I
Yeah.
wouldn't have liked if they pulled something out like that from him, oh, I made it bright and now they're separating because, I don't know, they could have done something.
The
but I'm glad that they
magnetism.
did Thetasmon. Yeah, the magnetism, but I'm glad it was Thetasmon and basically Jellymon evolutions that saved the day. And, yeah, Shadramon still ends up dying. Blacktailmon Uber shows up, takes the Nanomon in the Tupperware container back to the digital world along with the Digitama because that's what Blacktailmon Uber does. And Hero
And
gives
a
another letter.
There we go.
Yeah, and the letter. And
That
yeah,
he's
and then the
just
episode
been
ends.
carrying around. Let's note.
Yeah, just hoping that someone dies so Blacktailmon Uber shows up, which is basically what happens.
Yep. Look, someone's gonna die sooner or later. Gammamon, can you kill the next Digimon that shows up? Just asking for a friend.
I mean, Gammamon has killed, I'm pretty sure.
Like a good number of Digimon.
Yeah.
Who killed?
Sometimes-
I'm already gonna forget his name, but who killed?
Publimon?
Who killed Shadramon in the first place?
I think he would...
Accidental
unseen.
teleporting nonsense. Oh, you mean in the beginning of the episode? Non-specific.
I don't think it matters. I think the point was he's just dying.
died.
It could just be old age. Do we know that Digimon die of old
It
age
looked
or
like
not?
he had a
It
big old
sure
gash
looked
in
like
him.
it was the end of a fight, but
Even said
apparently
that
it
was
didn't
because of a
matter.
stupid fight or something.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
I was wondering if it was Nanomon.
I don't think that's what we're supposed to take from that.
Me either, as just
But it
speculate.
would have
I
been
mean, it's a
interesting.
possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, Nanomon sure was there.
It was Clockmon.
It was Clockmon, the real big bad.
I hope so. That'd be really good.
Now that we're done discussing the synopsis and going over Chloe's thoughts of episode 46 in Chloe's Corner, let's discuss some discussions. So first up, what were our highlights for this week's episode?
They body horrored.
Oh, yeah, it was good Alien.
Yeah, the body horror is always good, and it's always, like, upsetting, and I'm a big fan of the way that they do it. Like, it's not, it's not too gross, but it's as gross as you'd probably want it for a kid's show.
Yeah.
If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
No, it really worked the line. They got about as gross as was probably okay.
Yeah. I mean, I still think there are some episodes that have gone...
They Jeopardied it. They went
Harder?
closest
Yeah.
without going over.
No, the closest
I mean-
without going over was when they did the eyes episode.
Yeah, you right.
I would actually say the one that might have actually was like right on the line would be the Jataramon episode.
You know, I think that's a rating we should try to think about at the end of the series. Which got closest to the creepy line without quite going over.
See, yeah, I'm not sure if Jataramon that episode went over it. I just know that I was very like off-put. Like I had to think about how I felt because I wasn't
yeah.
sure because I was kind of
Definitely,
sad
definitely.
and grossed out. But this episode definitely did like a... Yeah, it didn't go overboard with the body horror. It was really creepy and gross. The Eyes episode probably did do more, but this one was still kind of gross and upsetting, and I'm always a fan of the way that they do body horror in the show. It's really creepy. My highlight was that Shadramon was in it. I really love Shadramon.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of Shadramon, but that was kind of neat.
I love how, and this is more of a thing about Ghost Game overall, but I love how last week's episode we had an entirely new Digimon. Same with the Publimon episode. This is a Digimon that just debuted that day, basically.
Neat.
Like, before that, I watched that episode, that Digimon, like, didn't exist. Before 9 a.m. that morning, Aleamon didn't exist. And same with, or at least not publicly. Same with Publimon. It wasn't an entirely new Digimon. But now this week's episode we have Shadramon, who is a Digimon that is over 2 decades old. This Digimon debuted alongside all the other 02 Digimentals from the card game and the D3 Digivice. So this is a really old Digimon who just hasn't really shown up that much. And I love that mix that Ghost Game is having with these ultra new Digimon and then these like really old ones who maybe haven't been animated before
deep
or
cut.
maybe haven't really shown off. Yeah. And I'm just a fan of that. And I as a fan of Digimon, as someone who's been here the whole in the franchise the whole time and has been really into Digimon and knows probably most of them by name, I think that it's just good. I just like seeing different Digimon. I like Digimon. Go figure.
He just thinks they're neat.
I just think they're neat. Any other highlights?
Nah, nothing specific.
Yeah, no, it was kind of fun, but yeah, I don't have a lot of particular thoughts I haven't already shared.
Kiyoshiro having all of the idol merch in his room was pretty great. Super on brand.
Yeah.
The
I like Kiyoshiro.
wait, you have friends moment was just chef kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that moment and the Espimon hating his life moment really just made me laugh.
Those were pretty solid.
And also, like, I made the most, like, immature little chuckle when Shadramon's claw came out of Kiyoshiro's colleague's crotch.
Yep.
Or
I was
crotch
gonna leave
area.
it alone, but yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I just made a chuckle because I'm 5 years old.
They
Like,
should
really.
just have him fly, like, right at the camera. Just being a schlong.
Hey, is that a
Yeah.
third leg coming out of your crotch, or are you just happy to see me?
He is very
Is
unhappy
that-
to see you.
Yeah.
Is that a Digimon within your body, or are you just happy to see me? It was just horrific.
Yeah,
It was just such a horrific little chuckle that I made. Another highlight was the fact that basically Jellymon was the savior of the day. That was great. She captured Nanomon as Tessa Jellymon, and then she separated the body horror at the end of the episode as Thetismon. I'm a big fan of that. I felt like every Digimon kind of was involved in their own way. We had Angoramon, and we were asking Angoramon what the have they seen this before? And that was really cool. Like, we've addressed that Angoramon is more familiar with other Digimon existing and what Digimon do, so we asked Angoramon what was going on there. Gamamon, of course, was involved in the fight, but as Battle Gamamon, which just, like, I punch things really well, but also maybe not punch things on fire when you're in a forest. And then we have Tessa Jellymon saving the day, and I really appreciate that. I felt like it was a good utilization of all the characters, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair, yeah.
Low light time or any more highlights?
Without
I'd have to
rigorous
rewatch it,
notes
yeah.
this week, yeah, I'm not coming up with anything
Good
else
body
off the top
horror.
of the head.
That's fair. So what about lowlights? I don't actually think I have any, so y'all can go off and I'll try to think if I have any lowlights.
The main one for me is just that it sure was a week of Deus Ex Machina. Oh, hey, Tethysmon has this thing that we can use to, separate them.
And
that we've
Nanomon
never
sure
had
can make
heard
a
of
memory
before.
seed.
And it's a sure, we're just kind of glossing over the fact that Nanomon digitized the human spirit to plant the seed in it.
And it's okay, because Nanomon has never before encountered the Petri dish.
Mm-hmm.
That is funny.
Yeah, there were just a lot of convenient things that happened, and, I get that they have to sometimes, but it felt like there were a lot of them this episode.
There was a lot of plutonium.
Yeah, I have like a somewhat low light, but I think it's also maybe a highlight or maybe a miscellaneous. It's kind of like a bit of a 3-in-1. So the fact that in this episode we were told many times, which I guess is the low light part, about the fact that when Digimon die they lose their memories, that was kind of cool. I'm glad that we're saying something. However, it was said so many times in this episode, I'm wondering if it's something that's going to happen and be relevant. Maybe Bokumon comes back but with no memories, or maybe one of the other characters dies and gets reborn with no memories. However, Digimon doesn't really have a good track record with telling us that, hey, when Digimon die, they become Digitama, but then they lose their memories, because they tend to, like, kind of cop out.
That rule just doesn't
of that
apply
moment.
anytime they don't feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, in Digimon Savers, they spent, like Agumon died, spoilers for something that came out almost 2 decades ago, but Agumon dies, and they spend an entire episode with Agumon being an egg, and they keep on saying, like, oh, when Digimon are reborn, they lose their memories, but then Agumon hatches and has the memories.
And they didn't
And
harp
it's
on it
kind
as
of like-
much, but, Adventure, Tokomon just
Yeah.
has no memory loss, but then other times some characters do.
Yeah, I think even in the original adventure they mentioned that when Digimon are reborn they lose their memories, and then Tokomon didn't. And same with the reboot. Even though they had memory loss from before the series, that all came back. And then in Try, they didn't die, but they did get rebooted, and they were meant to not have memories, but then they were able to... there was a backup of memories inside Meikumon or something, and then they were able to, like,
It's all just whatever the
restore their
writer
memories.
decides.
Are we talking about Digimon or Kingdom Hearts now?
Oof.
It's always Digimon, but it's always Kingdom Hearts, and it's always Evangelion.
Damn.
But,
Yeah.
by the way, I'm wearing a Blink-182 shirt, and because of course I am, and I was at the dog park the other day, and someone came up to me and they said, is that an Evangelion shirt? And I was like,
Oh no.
It says it does say Blink 182 right on the top.
Yeah, but that
it
sure
also
feels
has
like it could be a title card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it actually does. It jokes. It actually is the same font, actually, or similar font. So maybe, and there's also a
excellent.
girl with blue hair. So I guess I can
hell
see
yeah.
where he was coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Not
just felt like saying
question.
that. Yeah, and it just made me think of y'all. But anyway, do we have any other lowlights?
Nothing else is immediately coming to me, at least.
I will
yeah, I'm
preemptively
just-
be disappointed when we break the rule we repeatedly made this episode.
See, that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that they'll decide to not do that because whenever they tell us that you lose memories when you get reborn, they decide to, like, for some reason, oh, you were so close with your human partner that you didn't, and that's always the cop-out there. But that's
They
the
always
thing.
introduce that rule in order to have it be a big deal when the rule is broken. The only time we ever see it come up.
Yeah, but then again, Ghost Game feels like if any show is going to make something heartbreaking, that Ghost Game might actually follow through with that. But I'm also still, like, it's still Digimon,
Pretty
so I'm still like,
skeptical,
okay, yeah, I'm still skeptical about it. But yeah, favorite character, mine was Shadramon. I have to pick the Mon of the week just because I think Shadramon is just a great design of a Digimon. It's probably one of my favorite armor evolutions, up there with Rinkmon, who is just Hawkmon with the Digimental of Friendship, who is also a speed ice skater. Very cool design. I love him. But yeah, Shadramon is my favorite character. So, Chloe, who is your favorite character this week?
Oh, no, I haven't decided yet. Pass.
Pass. I'm gonna start. If you
back
don't
to
come
me.
up with something, I'm just gonna leave it as pass. Okay, Quinn.
I think I am also gonna go with Shadramon. It was a good design. I'm at least, sort of down for the I don't want to lose all my memories motivation, even if Nanomon just being around cuz didn't add a lot. But yeah, that's fine. And
That was sad too. Like Shadramon's death at the start and then death at the end of the episode, heartbreaking.
yeah.
Yeah, rough to die twice in one episode.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so happy that he was like reborn, but then he actually did die, and that was hard. Like,
Yeah.
I thought they were just going to have another friend for Angoramon to have tea with, but he actually died, and I was like,
That
kind
said,
of sad
I
about
was
it.
expecting him to be fine, and I was going to be like, okay, so we have to now talk about the ethics of, forcefully implanting things because we're doing an abortion commentary, right? No, we're not.
Woof.
They couldn't if they wanted to, I think.
Probably, yeah. I feel like someone tossed that out at some point in the writing process.
Oh, sure, but it got squashed, like, immediately.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
I think I'll put my favorite character as the human companion into whom Shadramon was implanted.
He does have a name. I think it's Tamotsu? Tamotsu?
Yeah, I just couldn't remember it.
That guy.
He
I know I was calling him, like,
destroyed
Kyoshiro's
Kyoshiro, and I
colleague.
respect that a lot.
That is
Yeah,
a
to be
good
fair,
point.
if Shadramon was in this episode, I would have picked that. So that is a completely valid answer. In terms of rating out of 5, I gave it a 4. I know I said literally like at the start of the episode, like or at least I can't remember if it was before the episode or anyway. I just said I
It's a
wasn't going to
valid
give as many 4s.
response on
But
one.
this episode, it was a 4. I really liked it, but also I really like Shadramon. So sometimes I'm like, did I like this episode or do I just like Digimon? But I'm going to give it a 4 because, yay, Shadramon. Chloe, do you have a rating out of 5?
I think I'm gonna also give this a 3.5. I was here for the beginning, but the ending just got kind of a little weird, and
Yeah.
it wasn't bad,
Yeah.
but it wasn't one that I was like, it's not gonna make it onto my must-watch list of Ghost Game.
It might make it onto mine. Like, I need to, I want to make a list of, Ghost Game episodes where I can just show people who may not know much about Digimon. And I think this might be one of them, just because I know I
It's
like it,
self-contained.
but also
I can
Shadramon.
see that.
I think that's something I like about Ghost Game is that if one of my friends wanted to watch an episode, I could just tell them, hey, watch this episode, and they don't necessarily need to watch any of the previous episodes. It's one of those self-contained shows, and that's something that's good about it. It's accessible. I can just say, hey, watch, I think that episode 13 was really good. Maybe not 13, because that one's a bit heavy. Maybe episode 21, that's also got Girls Gamon. Oh my gosh, why are the 2 episodes at the start actually the plot ones? Episode 29, there we are, the one where Thetis Thetis Gamamon? No, Thetismon gives a golden shower. Or Cannibal Mansion. One of those episodes, like I would just recommend.
A golden shower. We got it.
No, stop.
No. That's a thought that I could do without. But anyway, Quinn, save us from those thoughts. And what was your rating out of 5?
I am also, I think, gonna give it a 4, but my lowest 4 in the rankings.
Lowest 4 in the rankings. So, in terms of the overall ranking, that gives it 11.5, which apparently we've given before. So, that was episode 42, we gave 11.5 to, and episode 35. So, if I go to our ranking and I look for episode 42 with my loudest keyboard known to the entire world, my apologies. Episode 42 was Human Hunter. So, and then there was so there was Human Hunter and episode 35, which was Werewolf. So both of those also got 11.5. So how does it compare to Human Hunter and Werewolf? I'm just trying to remember what Human Hunter was.
Human Hunter was when we had the colored,
I remember
whatchamacallums killing the humans.
And Gulas Gamamon making the scary face. That's right.
Yeah.
And Werewolf was the Lamortmon episode. So, yeah, I'm trying to work out, I think, I'm going to say under, but what do you think?
Yeah, I think I like both those episodes more than this one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I also agree. So that's an easy decision. I'm just trying to find where episode 47 is. Okay, so that means that puts it in the overall ranking in 24th place. So still sitting fairly in the middle. So that's the overall one. So in terms of our individual rankings, I'm putting it in 19th place. So that is under episode 42, Human Hunter. So that tracks for our overall one. And above episode 38, The Diviner, which was the Domon kidnaps and possesses of a hero, which y'all hated, but I apparently didn't mind. But yeah, so what about y'all's rankings? Where are we putting this week's episode?
Can you put it one below wherever you put my last week's episode, please?
Okay, so one below episode 46, which I've now lost in my eyes. There it is. So that would make it in 31st place between episode 46, Queen's Banquet, and episode 47, Bird. And Quinn, where are we putting it in your ranking?
I'm going to put it at my lowest 4.
Lowest 4, so whereabouts is that?
I'm going to put it under 11.
So under episode 11, which is... Apparently I'm not... there we are. So that would be in 18th place for your ranking then. Coolios.
Sounds good.
So that's it for our rankings. What about miscellaneous thoughts or anything that we didn't get to?
I think I'm good. Chloe's half asleep.
Okay, let's move on to the next segment then. Now that we're done with our discussions, let's move on to Now that we're done with our discussions, let's move on to Pondering, Postmon, Pat, and predictions. So first up, overall comments over on YouTube, we have Donnie Roy, who says they have a weird love for sentient plant creatures, so a new plant Digimon really made them happy, and that's great. I love Aleamon. I think it's really creepy, really fits the theme fairly well, and it's pretty cool. And isn't like a cutesy plant, it's kind of like a scary, like Demogorgon kind of scary thing. Next we have Danny, who says Hero's dad casually ruining his son's life again and putting him and his friends in danger. See, that reminded me of a comment that I saw, I can't remember where, I think it was on Twitter or somewhere, and I can't remember who made it, so I apologize if you're listening to this. Please call me out in the comment section below. Somebody said that they have a theory that Hero's dad is purposefully, like, making Digimon do awful things in the digital world by pretending that that he's helping them. So he's actually, like, kind of like a terrible person who's just making everything go wrong in the human world because he's evil or something. And I don't know, I don't mind that theory. Next, we have Lazy Crocono, who says the episode was good, and they love that they punish Hero's friend for being creepy, and they want more of that until he changes. Another positive is Angoramon outsmarting Olamon, and Olamon is a positive in general because they're pretty good design ability combo. Next, they say that the next episode they really hope there is more plot, but they will enjoy it either way because they like Ghost Game and the main characters, so they don't mind this episodic adventure. Well, it wasn't plot, but it was still enjoyable. Next, we have Angel Squeaks, who says that they felt like it was too long torturing Kotaro in this episode. Usually there's a few different victims, so it doesn't feel so targeted, but it really felt like half the episode was devoted solely to making him miserable. They get the point, but they still think that Olamon was pretty cool, and they like that Ruli and Angoramon were the ones to save the day. They're also wondering if everything being Hokuto's fault is going to be a running theme until they finally learn more about the digital world or something. And yeah, I guess that's also still another point of like maybe he is doing it on purpose. And then they finish off to say that they're also interested to see what kind of role Kiyoshiro has in the next episode, so this week's episode, and having the horror being sharing the body with another creature definitely makes the potential dissociative disorder feel relevant at the very least, but no, that wasn't relevant anyway.
No.
They wonder if it's going to stop whatever Digimon involved from being able to control him, and no, that wasn't the case, but it was still horrifying though.
Not quite in the way I expected either.
Yeah. Swintoes says that they saw another YouTuber talking about how they think that it'll be a season 2 of Ghost Game. It feels like maybe they're doing that, otherwise I don't really see how they were able to be wrapping this up in just a few weeks. I don't think there'll be a season 2, I just feel like it will be a longer than the normal Digimon series length. I feel like maybe 66 episodes like Adventure Colon, or 67 or whatever that got, or maybe more. I think maybe 67 is like a minimum. I can't see it ending this year though anyway. Next, we have Narumi, who says that episode 46 was weird, but not in a bad way. They also hate Hero's friends, they don't feel bad for him, and they kind of wanted Lemon to eat him, but the writers would not let that happen, and they have a question. Ghost Game is the first Digimon season that shows new Digimon in the anime. I don't think so. I think all seasons of Digimon have had, like, a new Digimon show up at least once. Like, usually it's with the main characters. And they said they're surprised we have 2 new Digimon in a row, and they don't remember any season doing that. I swear we have had that, but, like, because all seasons of Digimon would introduce, like a pretty big handful of Digimon, but it has been a while. I know Cross Wars was introducing new characters all the time, and yeah maybe Savers didn't. Maybe Savers was kind of like, didn't introduce, oh no, it did have the bio hybrids, so I think every series has done it. Next we have Andrew, who says that it's a fine episode. They like how some Digimon come to the human world because Hero's dad just says so. And that it is kind of funny that some Digimon are just there and some Digimon are just being sent there by Hero's dad.
You have to give him, he's very consistently wildly irresponsible.
Yeah, which is like, maybe don't tell these monsters things, or maybe like try to communicate better with the monsters who want to eat people. Just a thought. Next we have Ouchmaster, who says they've got an unpopular opinion, but they actually like Kotaro and feel like we're too harsh on him. And then they say that they've watched a lot of anime with much more perverted characters, and he seems rather tame in comparison. To them, he comes off less as a deviant, but more just a middle school boy going through puberty, whose lack of social skills means he's not good at noticing if people are uncomfortable, and there's not really any filter between his brain and his mouth. Prior to spying on the girls in the pool in this episode, the most he had done is unwanted flirting and making some rude comments, and it seems kind of extreme to wish death upon a kid whose brain hasn't fully developed because of that. I still feel like it's not something that the show should say is a good thing.
Not
like,
actually a kid, he's a character made by an adult who keeps doing creepy things with no consequences.
Like, I understand, like, a real person going through things, but characters don't, like, are off. The character is not written by a teenager. The character is written by an adult, and they should know that they should at least punish these things. Like, doing, like, spying on girls in the pool, that's really, really creepy, and maybe you shouldn't have that in a children's show.
And it's just the way that we got him into the episode. He's just apparently okay with going to a pool for the explicit purpose of getting to see girls in swimsuits. And he's just back to it at the end of the episode. Nothing changed. Ugh.
Yeah, then they finish off to say that as far as the episode goes, they feel like it was a missed opportunity. They were looking forward to having this character get more involved in the plot, but him not being able to remember anything means that there wasn't much room for him to develop, and that is a sad point. Then they say, given this, some of the disturbing overtones with Leomon, a feminine Digimon treating a boy as a literal piece of meat, it could have been easy to make this a Kotaro learns his lesson kind of episode, and yet I would have kind of liked that more. Either they didn't go that route just by having him learn about Digimon, would have been a good opportunity for him to get more involved in the plot and possibly develop into a more nuanced character over time, rather than the victim of the week / joke character. Unfortunately, the ending means most likely the show is just going to go back to the status quo, which is probably the biggest problem with Ghost Games so far. And I think that's just an episodic show. Like, they just do that with episodic shows. Like, everything will be fine at the end of the episode, so the start of the next episode can be fine. Futurama makes a reference to it, but kind of like subverts it, but then the next episode everything is back to normal anyway. But yeah, so that's it for the comments. I'm fairly certain, or at least all that are showing up on YouTube for me. Let's talk about our thoughts about the series so far. Do we have any thoughts, or are we just too tired and brain empty?
Yeah, brain empty.
Brain empty? I thought my thoughts are just like, yay, Digimon. It's good to see a mixture of old and new Digimon, but I kind of went over that earlier. What about predictions for the next episode, which is episode 48, The White Bride? Looks like we might be getting a new Digimon
That'd
again.
be cool. I predict that we get to the Digimon Analyzer at the end, and then Ruri will say something to make Kiyoshiro scared, even though that's otherwise entirely not in character for her.
I hate the Digimon Analyzer part at the end of each episode.
Bad.
I know. I think that should just be like an instant low light for each episode, because it's always following the same thing.
It's just aggressively bad.
Yeah, and every week I'm just like, that could have been an extra minute of something that might have made the episode better. Like, even in a good episode, it could still make an episode even better. Like, just add in like 1 minute of extra time. Like, it's just never good. We basically already get like a bit of an analyzer when the Digimon shows up anyway, so it also feels just like a repeat of something we've already seen, but they add in like the joke of Kiyoshiro being scared, which also happens in the actual episode. But looks like a Ruli episode, so that's kind of cool. Like, I'm glad that we had this week being Kiyoshiro, and then the previous week was like Ruli saves the day. And then we had the Publimon episode, which was again a Kiyoshiro-ish episode. So I'm really glad that we're not doing Hero and Gammamon do this every week. Like, I'm appreciative of that. Alright everyone, so thanks for listening to this week's episode. You can find the link dump is linked in the description, and you can contact us and stay updated. You can leave us a comment on this episode on YouTube to join in the conversation, and for a full list of ways to find the podcast across the internet, such as YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter, head over to my link tree, which is linktr.ee/LostinTranslationmon. It's also linked on the @TranslationMon Twitter account. If you enjoy this podcast or videos or even my silly little tweets, you can show your support by signing up on Patreon and getting some cool rewards and help us hit milestones. And thank you to our current supporters on Patreon, Stephen Reeves, who is well missed for on Archive Our Own, Kadawashi, Chisai, who can follow on Twitter @Chisai236, Neobu, who says you should follow Chisai on Twitter @Chisai236, Lizmet, who is a Lekmon on Tumblr, Nicholas, Emery from Gone Will Hunting, a Hunter Rewatch podcast, Magnus, Lucas, Jason105, Patrick, Jason, Shelby, Digital Hazard, who is on Twitch @TheDigitalHazard, Dedicated Gazi, Alemus, Tropimon, and Vmon Tamer. You can also make a one donation on PayPal, which can be found linked in the description. It's paypal.me/Erdramon. You can also donate to me on my Ko-fi account, ko-fi.com/Airdra. And that's it for this week's podcast. Thank you so much to the Sleepy Quinn and Sleepy Chloe for joining me and talking about Digimon, because it's always fun, and I got to talk about Shadramon, so it's a great day for me. So yeah, thanks for joining me, thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye!
Bye-bye!